Hello everyone. Today I'm sharing a video on hemolytic uremic syndrome. Hemolytic uremic syndrome is characterized by three things. Three important things which are found in the hemolytic uremic syndrome are microangiopathic hemolytic anemia, thrombocytopenia, and acute renal insufficiency. If we see the subgroups of the HUS, one is a typical type, that is Shiga toxin associated HUS, and the another type is atypical HUS. Now in Shiga toxin associated HUS, there will be a history of diarrhea and dysentery. That diarrhea and dysentery commonly caused by the E. coli or Shigella dysentery type 1. Now, following that diarrhea and dysentery, due to the toxins, there occur HUS. Now, what happens is this toxin, cytotoxins, lead to the endothelial injury, and this endothelium injury, which is occurring in the renal microvasculature, lead to the coagulation and leads to the fibrin deposition. Because of the blockage of the microvasculature of the kidney, there will be acute renal insufficiency and hypertension, and also due to the blockage of the vessels by the fibrin and clot, there will be damage of the RBC and platelet when they will pass through these vessels. So what manifestation you will get is because of the endothelial injury, there is formation of the clot and fibrin deposition. And because of that, there is renal insufficiency, and also there will be anemia and thrombocytopenia. But when you talk of atypical HUS, this atypical HUS occurs in all the ages, and there will be no history of diarrhea or dysentery. There may be history of some other minor infections, and the course may be insidious or the course may be rapid. There occurs hypertension, renal insufficiency, and all that. It usually occurs because of the abnormality in the complement pathway, like there may be mutation of factor H, I, B, or C3. In HUS, if we see the clinical features, if we are talking of the typical type, it usually affects the young age, but like atypical can affect you all the ages, but children of all the ages may be affected by the HUS. If we seek a history, there will be a prodrome of diarrhea, dysentery, or other febrile illness, which will be followed by, because of that hemolysis which is occurring in a child, there will be sudden onset pallor. Also, because of the renal insufficiency and blockage of the renal microvasculature, there will be oliguria, reduced urine output. There will be raised BP, that is hypertension. Also, the child may have focal or generalized seizures or altered consciousness. Now we will make the diagnosis with the help of the clinical features and also with the help of the lab features. Now, if you will see lab features, the lab findings will be the characteristic which we are getting due to the passage of RBCs and platelets through the damaged vessels and this clotted vessels. So it usually leads to the damage of the RBCs and platelets. So in HUS, we will get hemolysis के findings. Hemolysis का findings like LDH will be raised, retic count will be raised. There will be broken, distorted RBCs on peripheral smear. Another thing we will get is thrombocytopenia and A. That MTA का A stands for acute renal insufficiency क्योंकि renal microvasculature is also getting involved. So this acute renal insufficiency will be manifested in form of there will be raised urea, there will be raised creatinine, oliguria, edema. All that features will be present. And urine may you may get proteinuria and hematuria. Now, specific if we get like in typical HUS that occurs because of the Shigella E. coli, there will be neutrophilic leukocytosis because of infection in the CBC. The polymorphs will be raised. Another thing on stool culture we may get Shigella. On PCR we can detect Shiga toxin E. coli, and also we can do ELISA for the toxins. Now, in atypical HUS, which occurs because of the complement abnormality, there will be reduced C3 levels and other complement affection will be there. Now, if we do renal biopsy, so basically what we get in the renal biopsy is, in renal biopsy, because of there is formation of the microthrombi in the lumen, so capillary lumen will be narrow because of the deposition of the fibrin and formation of the thrombi, and endothelial cells will be swollen up because of the damage due to cytotoxins. So there will be swelling of the endothelial cells, there will be fibrin and thrombi deposition in the capillary lumen, and also there will be deposition of the foamy material in the subendothelial space. Now the primary management we need to do when we are dealing with the child with the HUS. So hemolytic uremic syndrome का जब भी बच्चा we are getting, we need to manage the renal failure, we need to manage the hypertension. In some cases, we may need dialysis in the form of hemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis. Now, if there is anemia, we need to do the correction of the anemia. We also need to provide the adequate nutrition to the child. If suppose we get atypical HUS, then we need to do a plasma exchange. And sometimes if it's the involvement of the anti-factor H, we may need immunosuppression. And if C5 involvement is there, we may use the drug eculizumab. Thank you.